And we're live!
Welcome to another Master Tips podcast with me, your host Jack Hayward, and on the show today we have David Moore. Hello.
Hi.
And we have George Baum.
Hello!
So we're supposed to start this like a few weeks ago, but I've been busy and stuff. So this is going to be a nostalgic one, am I right in saying that?
Yeah, well, I don't think we really set a theme for this month, but I wanted to look at this movie and get the reactions of people who've only really grown up with Bayformers to deal with, so...
Yeah. Excuse me. Right, so, we're going to be talking about Transformers, the movie, in this podcast. Not the first one, the 1986 one.
Which would be
was...
the best
Technically make that the first one.
Oh, I don't know. Which is based on the, currently then, the running cartoon series of Transformers. And it was directed by Nelson Shin, who has directed a bunch of animated shows like The Simpsons, Batman, X-Men, Arthur, loads of stuff really, and stars some surprisingly huge actors that I wouldn't have associated with this universe, such as Eric Idle.
Yeah.
Eric Idle?
Eric Idle's in this, yeah. And Orson Welles, which is most the surprising one.
Well, not really. It's a big fat planet playing a big fat planet. See? Perfect sense.
Yeah. And so the plot is there is the ongoing war between Decepticons and the Autobots, and then this big planet thing called Unicron, played by Orson Welles, comes across and starts fucking shit up. That's the long and short of it, from what I gather. It brought along quite a lot of changes to the show, killing off a lot of the big characters, including Optimus Prime, which was a big deal back then.
It was traumatic for a lot of children.
Yeah. So, 5 words or less, everybody. Who wants to go first?
George?
Still better than Michael Bay's crap.
David?
Bra weep ninny bong.
Okay. I'm gonna say Transformers, robots who say shit. Because they say shit in this movie, and I was very surprised.
And damn.
Yeah, people have been saying damn, but in the UK, it's not really a big deal. Damn.
Yeah.
Because we're less religious, so
Oh, okay.
someone says damn.
Yeah, damn and hell and general blasphemy is kind of accepted over here.
Alright, I didn't know that. I'm just saying when I watched it, I was kind of surprised to see that.
So when they said damn, I didn't even register with me. But one character goes, shit, and I'm like, what?
Oh, yeah.
To be fair, that character is about to be dropped into a vat of acid. That is probably the biggest reaction it could get away with.
Yeah, definitely.
I'm just very surprised because it's gonna be children as young as 6 watching this.
But
And they said shit.
But think about what a children's classic, say, The Goonies is considered as, and how much swearing's in that.
Yeah, but I mean, for me, that's a live action film. I think you can get away with more when it's live action, but when it's a cartoon, it's not even gory or anything. I mean, I guess it's very violent, just how many characters just get mowed down by laser rifles and stuff.
Oh, you mean in the fucking opening, which is just them being massacred? Jesus Christ.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, so I'm going to begin by saying I never watched any of the Star Wars Transformers cartoons. and I think that was a pretty big barrier for me in this film that stopped me from enjoying it so much. Because yeah, when I got the impression that you're supposed to know who all these characters are, and so when these characters like Ratchet and Ironhide were getting, mowed down, I was like, what's going on? Who are these characters? Why do I care? Even Optimus Prime, I didn't really care that much when he died.
I kind of feel the same way when I watched it. The death scene wasn't necessarily like very sad. It was just kind of like weird. Like you don't expect like this to happen so early on in the film.
Yeah.
But, but I think that's why it works, because that was the big shocking moment. I mean, obviously, at the heart of it, they're just trying to push the second wave toy line, but as an emotional core for the film, Optimus Prime is the one everybody loves. Everybody remembers Optimus. What is Transformers without Optimus? And the answer to that is one season in a movie.
Yeah, I mean, like I said, like I didn't really care about any of the characters at all, because I didn't watch the show, and here there's no reason to care. So that was a very big barrier for me. But what about you, David? Like, did you grow up with Transformers? Are you in that age bracket?
I'm technically just slightly too young for it, but because I have older siblings, yeah, I kind of just caught it on the tail end. So I never got to see the film in cinemas because it came out the year before I was born. But a couple years later, saw it on VHS. I thought it was amazing. But that said, anything with giant robots will be amazing to me. I am pretty biased in the giant robot category.
Definitely.
But generally speaking, with the death of a lot of the characters, characters like, this is nothing nothing like the series. It's in the series, yeah, there's danger and there's peril, but characters never really die as such. Well, of course they don't die. I mean, they get shot and then they're back again the next week. But as a kids' movie, kind of having such lasting consequences for such a long-running franchise was incredible, and it was mind-blowing as a child. So it's stuff you don't even see stuff like this in like G.I. Joe, and that's real soldiers allegedly. Well, real cartoon soldiers, not robot cartoon soldiers.
Sure.
Yeah.
Sheeping it. Yeah, but I mean, yeah, I do appreciate that, but for me as like a modern day punter, I didn't really care much, and I thought the plot was what?
Hold on a second.
Sorry, someone in the background.
Just the two of us. We can make it if we try. Sorry.
Yeah, so I just thought like the plot was terrible as well. Like, I thought Unicorn was really good. He was really cool.
Yeah.
But I had no idea what was going on with the war, and they're just like hop from planet to planet. Like,
Yeah.
Like, what was that garbage planet? I was like, what? And then there's Eric Idle, who kills the new main character really easily, and then just put them back together. It's fine, whatever. So I was very surprised by that.
Well, you say new main character. I mean, you're talking about Ultra Magnus here. The story isn't really focused on Ultra Magnus. He's just there as the natural second in command. He's not the oldest, but the longest and most effective and most trusted advisor to Optimus. So it's natural he fell second in command. But really, this is all Hot Rod's story.
Yeah, I noticed that. Like, Ultra Magnus did shit all in this movie.
Yeah, basically, he was there to be a punching bag.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But, I just didn't kind of get what's going on. Like, it would have been nice for some tension, but then like that whole garbage world scene was utterly pointless.
Oh, with the
Yeah.
Junkions, yeah.
Yeah, I just didn't get. I just thought the plot wasn't really focused. It's like stuff going on that was like unconnected to the main plot. You know.
Yeah, I mean,
Yeah.
I'll agree. I think for you two, the film will suffered a lot by not being familiar with the series, but it goes on to choose several landmarks for the series, including introducing with the Junkions. It introduces that there are other types of Transformers, not just the Cybertronian Transformers, which can then bring us into sub things like the Headmasters and the Alternators.
Yeah, it just wasn't like remarked upon as such.
Oh no.
You know, they didn't seem surprised. Well, from an
Yeah.
audience perspective, we would be surprised.
I guess.
And the mate, the music would never shut up for a moment. It was just like 80s rock song after 80s rock song.
What? Why would you want that?
Oh, so you watched
to
Strange
stop for a
Magic?
minute?
Well, it just didn't stop. Like,
Exactly.
I wouldn't mind like a few, but it was just like like every literally it was like someone that had like a Spotify playlist going, and they just left it playing while the film was like doing its thing.
But Jack, there to keep all your dreams alive.
I just thought it just got annoying afterwards. Just like, shut up, it's a movie. Get like a proper soundtrack.
It is definitely a product of its time. I think we can all agree on that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But that said, it being a product of the time, I mean, story-wise, we all know it's, as I said, it does help a lot to be versed in Transformers lore. I mean, like when Hot Rod and Cup are on that planet where they're undergoing the trial. I mean, I bet to a lot of people that made no sense what was going on there.
No, not at all. No.
Whereas, if you followed the series, that's something that got alluded to, and that is the acting as judge for the spinning heads is actually the species that created the Transformers originally. That got alluded to in the first season, where you meet one of the Quintessence, I believe they're called. I can't quite remember. Quintessence sounds right. 5 faces and again, this just goes on to expand the universe and show what happened to them. But again, it goes to show how this film did require prior knowledge. You can't just use this as your starting jumping in point.
Yeah.
Which they should have thought of. Like, if it was a TV movie, it'd be fine. But it was like released in cinemas.
Again, though, I'd tie that back to being a product of its time. 'Cause at that time, you're a little boy, aged between about 6 and 12. You watch Transformers. There is no. It's not like today. You have to bear in mind the variety. You didn't have the variety you have today, so you watched that show. Oh, you watched Challenge of the GoBots, in which case you were a loser and everyone picked on you.
Fair enough.
I think George almost struck me as a GoBots fan, and look at him.
Hey!
But I guess like inevitably we have to compare it to the Bay film. And while I'd say at least the first film was more, I guess it was easier to follow. You know, you got the 3 acts, tells you who the Transformers are, tells you who the Decepticons are, who the main character is, what the plot is, what the bad guys are after, what the good guys have to do to win. You know, all that stuff. Well, this was just like kind of like setting up for a new series without having a strong plot, so to speak. But on the flip side, at least I could like kind of tell what Transformer was what. Well, in the Michael Bay
Exactly.
movies, I could not tell for the life of me, especially the later ones.
Yeah, I think that's
Tell me
one of the
about it.
things that's why part of the reason the original designs are still loved so much today, and it's because how can I phrase this better? They've all got an obvious silhouette. You could look at the silhouette and go, I know who that is. It's a short one with horns. That's Bumblebee. It's big.
Yeah.
It's a big tall one with smokestacks coming out. That's Ultra Magnus. You have a clear silhouette for what everyone's meant to be.
Whereas you had the Bay films, with actually the exception of probably Age of Extinction, where they just all are the same, like color palette, practically the same design, and the only thing that differentiates them is what they transform into.
I mean,
Yeah,
the other thing I'd mention is this film, the '86 film, probably does a better job as well of distinguishing the personalities of the characters.
Oh yeah, definitely.
Maybe not so much with the Autobots, but definitely with the Decepticons. I feel in the Bay movies they're always portrayed as just the lack of distinct personality each.
Yeah, I mean, they just have distinct personalities, not necessarily like all for the better. Like, I think he's called Blur. Fuck me, he was annoying. One of those 80s characters, like, they speak really fast because they don't speak really fast, and it's not really funny. But it's like, shut up.
Oh, so he's part of the annoying. Oh, so he's part of the annoying, fast-talking dick club that Soderbergh set up.
Yeah, it just reminds me of another example with that Toy Soldiers movie. You remember that one?
Yes, with the
Which one?
spinny dude.
With the Gorgonites, and there was a spinny guy.
Small Soldiers. That was the name
Oh,
of it.
that movie.
So yeah, I mean, and that kid, I hated that kid. I wanted to, like, when he transformed, just to crush him. So I hated him so much. Like, I get why he was there. I was like, he was there for the young audience, so like they could be like imagine themselves being there, right? But he was pointless. Like, there's a bit where his dad's about to be dropped into acid. It's like, son, use your gun. It's like, there's like 4 other Transformers just standing there with much better trained. Like, what? Like, if he couldn't, like, oh, I don't know where my gun is. Like, Hotshot, would you mind just taking over for a minute, mate? Hotshot, no, that's not. The boy has to learn. No, my life, I'm about to be dropped into acid, Fucking stupid.
Exactly.
To be fair, given he just barely survived the destruction of a moon, I think we can safely assume that Spike was not thinking straight.
Well, they're all just like standing there going, duh. We'll let a 12-year-old do it for us.
Yes.
This is perfectly logical.
Yep.
Have you never seen a '80s kids film? Everyone knows 12-year-olds are the smartest people on the planet.
He doesn't do anything.
Yeah, because when I was 12 years old, I totally wasn't an idiot. No, when I was 15, I was a fucking idiot.
And you
When
still
you're
are,
17,
George.
you're an idiot.
Read it in my old posts on MTA, and you'll know what I'm talking about. In fact, actually, don't. Please don't.
Okay, and another thing, this is probably down to my ignorance of the franchise, but I was very perplexed when I saw there was like kid Transformers. I was like, they're robots. There's no need for them to grow up.
They're not kids, they're minicons.
Right.
Minicons later became part of the Headmasters franchise, as well as they became a staple feature, and depending on what version of Transformers you're watching, they did different things. But mainly it involved combining with other Transformers to unlock new abilities or weapons.
Oh, cool.
Okay. So they're just tools, basically.
Yeah,
Pretty much.
they're living tools, just like George.
And they look like children. That seems like some sort of analogy for trafficking.
Well, read what you want into it. Remember, they're all based on a. Although Hasbro put out Transformers, they are based on an originally Japanese toy line by Takara Tomy.
Oh, really? Didn't know that.
Yeah.
Okay. I mean, so what do you guys think? George, you haven't said much.
I don't know. I mean, I don't give like jack shit about Transformers. I've only, I've been meaning to rewatch this movie. I actually have it on a VHS somewhere in my room, but I didn't get around to rewatching it. I have seen it before, and I think it was like, I want to say like maybe 10, 11 maybe when I first watched it, and I didn't think it was like that bad. I do remember a good amount of it, and I think it's not like that bad of a movie, but I don't know. What do you think?
I feel like David. What about you?
Well, again, as I said, I'm coming from this from a different angle to you guys. I'm someone who was familiar with the franchise before I watched the movie. I knew the characters, so it had a big thing for me. I mean, talked a bit about the soundtrack. I'd like to actually ask, what did you guys think of the animation quality?
It's decent.
Yeah, definitely decent. There are times where it looks really, really good, specifically with the scenes with all Unicron or something. But most of the time, it does look like an extended episode of the show, from what I've seen of it. I've never watched the original cartoon.
Yeah, I mean, I love the opening shot. Is amazing. Like, I really like the art, but then that sort of gets destroyed because, like, it seems like all these like places are really close together, and the worlds themselves are tiny. Like, I know that
Yeah.
Unicron is supposed to be huge, but Cybertron just felt really small.
Yeah, I get what you mean. There wasn't
Do you
really
mean,
much
like-
sense of there's a sense of escalation, but not of scale.
It just seemed like
Exactly, I was about to say that.
Yeah, it just seemed like kind of the size of England, really.
But to be fair, that'd still be a terrifying robot.
Oh yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
But yeah, I mean the animation quality is pretty decent. I mean, my big concern is the actual visual editing is a bit janky.
Yeah, definitely.
Just the way it will cut from scene to scene without really any form of transition or reasoning why. It just feels kind of junky and hurried together. Soundtrack-wise, I love it because it's unapologetically 80s. And
Yeah.
just look at me, you know, fucking look at me. Of course, I'm gonna love that soundtrack. Stan Bush is Mr. Cheesy 80s soundtrack, and he's the guy who did both Dare and The Touch. But yeah, overall, I really enjoyed the movie. Not only because it just upped the stakes for the franchise, as well as obviously trying to sell new toys, but it did up the stakes of the franchise. It brought things new. And it brought what was previously very much an Earth-based TV series out onto the galactic front. And everything did it in grand style. If not, if not necessarily with a lot of substance, but definitely with style.
Yeah.
Yeah, definitely.
What didn't you like about the movie?
As said, the editing's a bit janky. Also, I'd probably say the second act drags. It feels like the first act is rushed, the third act is rushed, and the second act just seems to drag on ad infinitum. Like,
Yeah. The plot is terrible, like I said.
If I had to push, if I had to pick out two of the best scenes and two of the worst scenes, probably the two best scenes I'd say are when Megatron gets reformed by Unicron into Galvatron.
Yeah, that's cool.
That's
Yeah, definitely.
That's just an amazing piece of animation. and again, just so unapologetically 80s in how it's done. And,
yeah, I love the 80s.
And the infinite, and the scene where Megatron and Optimus Prime have their duel.
Yeah. I mean, I thought that was a bit dumb. Like, why did that guy, jump on Megatron? Why did he just shoot him? Hot Rod, what it's called.
I know.
Well, it's Judd Nelson. What do you expect?
Exactly.
Just seemed contrived.
Well, of course it was, but that's just playing up to the. I mean, bear in mind also a lot of this is it's tropes before there were tropes. So it's Hot Rod jumping in, thinking he's going to get the drop on Megatron, not quite realizing how strong Megatron is. The young idealist ends up killing the leader, which would have made a great emotional core for the film had they focused any on that.
Yeah.
But again, that ties into my point about it's a great film for style, but substance, yeah. No, I can't defend the lack of substance in this.
Yeah.
Yeah, same.
I don't really know what else to say.
Yeah, same.
I guess the only other thing to mention is the fact that it's an infinitely quotable film.
In what way?
Well, let's face it, you've got lines like, there's the obvious ones, one shall stand, one shall fall, until all are one, light our darkest hour. There's also some other great lines in there, such as when Megatron and the Decepticons in the beginning take over the shuttle, and after he shoots one of the Autobots who's already wounded and just goes, such nonsense. There's the always classic and infinitely nerdy greeting at conventions of bra weep, grana weep, ninny bong. It is the universal greeting. You can say that in any country, and if someone's a Transformers fan, they will say it back to you. That's just one of the silly things that continued throughout almost all iterations.
I mean, I didn't get that anyway, because it's like they all speak English.
Yeah.
What's the point?
Well, do you speak teletalk?
Then you want a proper nerd. Your nerd card is being revoked.
No. It's as I say, I'm looking at this from a position of rose-tinted nostalgia goggles. It's very hard for me to take them off with this film.
Yeah.
Simply because of what it represented. Because it's also for a lot of people the first time that they realised, animation could be mature, and even as cheesy as it was, that animation could be dark, and that maybe death is permanent, and that things change. It did introduce a lot to kids at the time, in concepts that we now in shows like Adventure Time and Steven Universe. There's a lot of stuff that Transformers the movie did first that we now kind of take for granted, and I think that's possibly its strongest legacy. That it taught kids that their favourite characters can and will die, and that unlike Goku, they will not keep coming back.
Yeah, that's true.
Right now I'm depressed.
To talk about the celebrity roles a bit, Orson Welles. So this is shortly before he died. I'm finding out.
Orson Welles for this is my question.
I love his quote about this.
Yeah, it's
really?
like, you know what I did this morning? I played the voice of a toy. He elaborated. I play a planet. I met someone called something or other. Then I'm destroyed. My plan is to destroy whoever it is thwarted, and I tear myself apart on screen. But apparently he was pleased to accept the role after reading the script and expressed admiration for animated movies.
Oh wow.
Yeah, and another tidbit was his voice was so weak they had to technicians had to salvage it with synthesizers and stuff.
Well, I think that actually worked because it added having the weak voice, it kind of added underlying menace, because it could be very easy to have this big, monstrous planet killer and give it the big, booming voice, instead to have this kind of raspy, subtle menace to it.
Which kind of makes it more creepy, because you don't really, like, with the tone that he has. And it's Orson Welles speaking, so you have no idea, like, it's, like you say, it's a very old voice, but I think that makes it, like I said, a bit more threatening, because you wouldn't expect, like, something this big and this menacing to have that kind of voice. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Yeah, the voice work really sold the whole I was old while the universe was still young thing.
Yeah.
Definitely.
And Eric Idle, what the fuck?
Yeah, what the fuck is Eric Idle doing in this?
One of the Monty Pythons in this movie.
To be fair,
does he have a knack for voicing characters in like animated kids films in like the late '80s and early '90s?
it's because Eric Idle will do anything for a paycheck.
Well, that's true. He was in that. He was in Superman 2 and Dudley Do Right.
Yeah, the dude will do anything for a paycheck.
Still awesome though. Awesome though.
Yeah.
Speaking of celebrities, I just want to touch back on the soundtrack briefly. Another reason this is probably also an incredibly fondly remembered movie, in spite of its flaws. When they're on the planet of the Junkions after they chase the Decepticons away, the song that plays, Dare to Be Stupid, is probably the first Weird Al song entire generations ever heard.
Oh, really?
Yeah, it's Weird Al doing a pastiche on Devo, the band that did Whip It.
Oh, nice.
Yeah. Oh, yeah, apparently Leonard Nimoy was in this movie as well.
Leonard Nimoy?
Yes, he voiced Galvatron, which is who Megatron got formed into by Unicron when Megatron was found almost dead in space.
Does he continue to voice Galvatron in the series then?
No.
I didn't think so.
That sucks.
None of the celebrity voice actors returned for the series. The only one from the series who still gets to play himself and continues to play himself after the movie is obviously Peter Cullen as Optimus Prime.
Yeah.
Yeah. No, that's interesting.
Yeah, definitely.
What did people think to Judd Nelson as Hot Rod?
It's pretty good, I guess.
What is Judd Nelson famous for?
He's part of the Brat Pack. He played Bender in Breakfast Club. He was in 16 Candles, St. Elmo's Fire. You know, all the 80s like teen films.
Yeah.
Oh wow.
Okay. Interesting.
I'd say I'm showing my age, but I was born at the end of the 80s. And for some reason, I've just gone really brummy. George laughs because he has no idea what that means.
Oh, shut it.
Yeah, I'm just like, I thought Unicron was really cool. I wonder if they'll bring him that character back for like the last Transformers movie or something.
Well, this is it. I thought Transformers 3 was gonna win. Was Transformers 3
Dark of the Moon. Yeah, I thought it was coming after that too.
Yeah, I mean,
Well, there's gonna be.
They brought in the Fallen, but not fucking Unicron. What the fuck, Michael Bay?
Exactly. Who knows? Maybe they'll bring Unicron in Transformers 5, even larger stuff breaking.
Well, you can only scale up to planets at this point.
Thumbs up for anyone who actually got where that reference came from.
Yeah. Sorry, I was just taking care of a moth.
That's fine.
Yeah, I think like because there are gonna be 2 more movies after Age of Extinction, so maybe the last one will be Unicron. You know.
Yeah, maybe. I'm not sure though.
Kind of reminded me of Galactus a bit.
Yeah, there is very much Galactus with a Fu Manchu mustache thing there. Well, yeah, I think he has a villain. Unicron's great. They brought him back in the Transformers Armada and Energon back in the late 90s, early 2000s. Don't know if you guys watched them.
No, not at all.
Armada.
Never heard of it.
Armada was a very cheaply produced anime series. Energon was not quite as cheap, but Jesus Christ, those Transformers are poorly made CGI models series.
Oh, wow.
But both of them had excellent story arcs. So you're like, it looks like shit, but I really want to watch it. So you got into the heart of just thinking it's just like one of those motion comics. It's just a motion comic.
Okay. I don't know what else to say about this movie. I mean, because I'm not like a fan, I was very confused the whole way through, really.
Yeah, I have a feeling. Well, if this movie inspired either of you two to look into Transformers, what I recommend is that check out the comic series by IDW.
Okay.
It's a very good, very well written series. It's all based on the original series, so you don't have years of continuity to faff about, worrying about. It's just an excellently written book. So yeah, you can find out more there. I'd recommend.
Alright then.
Well, as from all the yawning, final thoughts.
George, go first, mate.
I think it's a pretty decent movie overall. I definitely like it more than any of the Michael Bay movies. It's not a great movie by any means, but I'd say like if you like Transformers and you like 80s anime, 80s rated shit, I think you'll get a kick out of it.
Yeah. What about you? What about you, David?
I think speaking to you guys, it's become painfully obvious to me. It's definitely a movie for the fans.
Yeah, it's true.
Unless you go in with that some prior knowledge at least of who's who, you're not going to get a lot out of it. The stakes aren't going to seem all that big. It's just, oh, the red robot died. Who's the red robot? Why should I care? But if you are a fan of the series, if you look at that red robot, Cliff Jumper, by the way, and oh no, Cliff Jumper! Yes, if you're invested in these characters at all, I would highly recommend checking this movie out. Even if you're just a fan of the Michael Bay movies and maybe want to look at some of the, and you want to look at some of the other stuff, see if that will be up for it. Again, you'll recognise most of the characters here. If not at first appearance, as soon as someone mentions the names, you'll know who they are.
Yeah.
Yeah.
As for me, my final thoughts is I agree with what you guys say. I think if you're already like aware of the series, and you've been watching it, then you probably enjoy it a lot more. If you're like me, just the average punter who just I've only seen the movie, and you have the plots to it all over the place. You don't really get invested in the characters. The kids are annoying. The soundtrack begins to grate after a while.
It's a basic Transformers movie.
but it's very colourful. The action's decent. You can actually tell them apart, unlike the Michael Bay movies. And it has mildly piqued my interest in the series. I don't know if I'd be able to be bothered to watch the original series, but it's piqued my curiosity. So,
well said. If you don't want to invest the time in the series, definitely check out the IDW comics.
Yeah.
Definitely.
All right. On that note, I'm not too sure what we're going to be doing on Saturday or Sunday, rather, but we'll see.
I know what I'll be doing.
Wank, wank, wank.
As I say,
I know what I'll be
doing
doing on
Jack in the
Saturday
Box.
night, if you know what I mean. And by that I mean I'll be bagging groceries for people in my town.
Hi, George. Here's a penny.
George, you always struck me as a bagger. Oh, what was that?
The fuck?
Was what?
Do you guys hear it, or is my computer now haunted?
I heard it. What the heck was that?
Must have been something on Jack's end.
I don't know. So anyway, we'll see you guys on the next Monster Tunes podcast. Like, favourite, subscribe, watch.
Comment. Tell me how pretty I am.
Dick pics.
My dick pics for the first top 5 commenters. Only applies if you're over 18.
Catch you later. Bye.
See ya.